gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet. Giving you a little preview of what's coming up on the pick and roll there, but we are the best sports podcast on the planet, covering all of the top sports stories happening in the world. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
It sounded like you forgot who you are.
No, I'm trying to figure out because Facebook is not showing that we're live.
Well, that's not good.
I'm checking again. If you're out there live in Facebook world, let us know as well. We do ask if the fans, there we go. We do ask if the fans are out there. Join us live, join the chat. Let us know what you think. If you have an opinion, we've got a lot of great stories to talk about tonight. So we're kind of excited about that. But before we get started, we always like to thank those who are helping us continue to grow. As we have continued to hit different markets, we are now and have been in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you, WDJY 99.1 FM, putting us on every Saturday at 1 p.m., as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Southeast Connecticut, Public Access Channel 12. Thank you for putting us on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. We appreciate the support. Thank you for helping continuing to put our voice out there. You know, so many people want to hear us talk, Ron. That's the funny thing.
Well, yeah, of course.
You know, it's just, it's a thing now. It's a thing.
Well, not only that you get all these places, these other sports shows. They kind of take our segments.
Yes, they do.
It's kind of irritating.
Hey, listen, there's only one original. That's the Sports Unfolded here. So let us know what you think. If you're enjoying the show, continue to like, share, and follow. Well over 1,000 followers. Sports Unfolded, as well as Rhode Island Broadcasting, almost 10,000 followers. A lot of great programs on Rhode Island Broadcasting, so check that out as well. But Ron, it is time to get this party started. I hope you're ready, because I know I am.
Of course I'm ready for this. I mean,
all right.
What a game.
What a game. Indiana Pacers have forced a Game 7 with a convincing 108-91 victory last night in Indianapolis. Thoughts on Game 6 before we talk about expectations for Game 7?
Well, I know, that four-letter network seems to be giving Halliburton most of the credit for last night.
Yeah, well,
and I am a little peeved about that. Peeved. Because to me, it was McConnell. I think
Siakam.
he was the catalyst of the game. He set the pace. He set the tone. Siakam was fantastic, of course. I think he's the big star of it all. But it was McConnell, to me, that set the tone for the game. And granted, look, I know Halliburton had 14 points, 5 assists. He played a good game for the 23 minutes that he was in there. But I think it was McConnell that was really the one that set that tone.
Yeah, big spark off the bench, McConnell. I thought, listen, the dominating on both sides of the ball. I don't think OKC ever got into a rhythm. 21 turnovers forced. So active defensively, Indiana. You hold them to 26.7% shooting from three-point range, which has been a huge factor in their victories in this finals. Halliburton, too, dealing with a calf injury that possibly could have had him out for game 6. The fact that he was able to play, contribute, not himself, but again, I think he did enough to really spark the team by showing that he was
Yeah, he played well.
great. He was committed to being there.
I'm not saying that he didn't, but I don't think that he led the team to that victory.
Yeah, no, listen, 6 players in double digits for the Pacers, and 2 of them are off the bench. So again, when you look at total team effort,
it was a total team too.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it last night.
Naismith, everybody chipped in on that game, and Miles Turner played a big part, with rebounding and the whole bit. Just the pressure of the defense just stifled anything that OKC was trying to accomplish, and they didn't accomplish anything, to be honest with you.
They looked so out of sync.
They should be scared.
Well, I will say this though: going home, they're very good at home.
Yes.
If you think about the big loss in Game 6 to the Denver Nuggets, and then they were able to bounce back and beat the Nuggets.
Right.
I mean, the experience is there from that standpoint. It depends on the energy that Indiana brings to OKC. Do they have enough firepower in stamina? Listen, will this Halliburton injury affect him going on the road now? It could be a possibility.
Yeah.
That's where you've got to see.
Look, Indiana has to come out like they did in Game 6 in order for them to have a shot. We know what OKC can do and how they rebound from losses. So Indiana has to continue that pressure, and they can't turn the ball over because that's what gets them in trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot gonna. Listen, who steps up besides SGA in Game 7? That's going to be crucial too. Jalen Williams, not the same player. He needs help. If they're going to win a title, SGA cannot do it himself. Last night, he scored 21 points. Still, again, not a very good shooting night, but if you look overall, there was nobody else helping him out. No. They need production from other players. They're, again, the second youngest team ever in the finals. Can that affect them now in a Game 7? We talked about the Western Conference Finals, but this is like another level. This is to win the chip.
Yeah.
How's that confidence level for these young kids? Can they just perform under that pressure? Indiana, listen, this is where we talked about this last week, Ron, and who needed Game 4 more. The Pacers would have won the title last night if it went off of how I thought about it. Like, go up 3-1. You still lose Game 5, then you're Game 6 at home. Both teams now have some pressure on them because
they both do.
Indiana has to perform well in a place that predominantly hasn't been dominated on in OKC. They have a very good home record. They're very good at home. Pacers have beat them in this series at home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've seen when OKC's defense rises to a level, the Pacers weren't able to respond either.
Yeah, they're forcing turnovers, and that's what they didn't do in Game 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all about pace. Both of these teams play with such a different pace that, OKC wants to slow you down defensively, make it difficult, and the Indiana wants to just run and just keep moving that ball. Who dictates the pace in Game 7 ultimately probably decides who wins that series.
Yeah, look, this has potential to be one of the best series in a long time. And you got two teams that haven't won, and I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, well, when they were in Seattle, they were." Yeah. No, I don't care. I don't care about that. They haven't won squat. With all those great players that they had in OKC, they didn't win anything. KD.
Wow.
Russell.
It's the Harden. Yes.
Harden. But here we are, and you got you got quite the interesting fact of a Game 7, which was what 2016 was the last one, I believe, somewhere around there.
Was that the Cavs Warriors? Yeah, right. That was the Cavs Warriors. I think the comeback for Cleveland when they were down 3-1. Yeah.
So we have a little bit of history, and you got two teams that are trying to get number one raised. And to me, this is who is going to take that fourth quarter to another level. Is it going to be SGA? Is it going to be Halliburton? Are we going to see something like Obi Toppin, like just light it up in the fourth quarter?
James, thanks for joining.
There's a lot of factors that can go in this. Is Chet going to show, why he was that number one pick, or even Jalen Williams? Is he going to show up like he did in Game 5?
I'm sorry. The fun factor of this is, if you think about it, the Pacers aren't even the number one basketball team in Indianapolis, right? Like, you got the Hoosiers in that college, like they've dominated. They've made a movie about it. Like, the Pacers are trying to be relevant as a pro team in their own, state. So it's going to be interesting to see how much pressure does that put on them to say, hey, you're right, we've got to win our first. We've got to get a banner up there, because otherwise, you know what? We've got this college team that continues to still be talked about even when they're not relevant, because that's what we're known for.
It's such a small market too. So you're looking at them like, and OKC is not a big market either. So, so these two teams are, trying to overcome, that small market and win a championship. And this is both of their opportunities, because they might not get another opportunity next year.
Right. We've seen it. Listen, we thought Boston now had a run that was going to last for some time, and it lasted 1 year.
Distant past already.
It lasted 1 year, and we haven't had a repeat champion in the NBA, and what they say, it's been since the Warriors did it quite some time ago. So I think you're right. We're going to obviously predict this game at the end of the show, but Ron, I guess the one question: who needs it more?
I think Indiana needs it more, because I think the way OKC is set up, they're gonna be contenders for the next 2-3 years. I don't see that with Indiana, mostly because, well, first off, Miles Turner is a free agent. And if they don't keep him, I think that is pretty much it. And you're now looking at a team of guys that once their contracts expire, there's a good chance that they don't get re-signed. There's a good chance that they get traded, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I'm almost thinking the opposite, Ron, and I'm going to say OKC, because SGA winning the MVP, the league's still looking for the next face. Like, who's the next player that people are going to want to follow and watch, right? But if he loses here, and to your point, doesn't get back, that may affect how people view him going forward. We just talked about James Harden, very good player. Not going to listen, doesn't perform well in the postseason. That's a whole other story for another show. But if you look at his career, it's almost like that Dan Marino like so good except when. And SGA could fall into that. And in the league now is going to still continue to look for a guy. There isn't a guy out there right now that the league sits back and says, okay, who's taking LeBron's seat in the next year or two?
It's not LeBron's seat.
It's still LeBron's league until LeBron. I'm not saying he's the best player. LeBron is the face of the NBA.
I think it's Curry, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think LeBron. LeBron's been there so long and just with his records. But again, we could argue about that too. who's the next guy? Because even Curry, to your point, how much longer does Curry have? A couple years? A few years left? How many?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Two, you know what I mean? So this series is going to technically change the landscape of the NBA too, because I think a lot of people want to see Halliburton become that face. I don't think he's good enough to. I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's good enough.
No, he's not going to. Even if they win, he's not going to be the face of the league. You know what I'm saying? If SGA wins, then he's the face of the league.
Right. So that's where.
But if he loses, then he becomes Charles Barkley.
Hey. A good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No offense to Charles Barkley, but I mean, that's where you're heading if you don't win this. Because look, if you want to become Jordan, you can't lose in the finals. You can't lose. And did Michael ever go to Game 7?
I'm trying to. I don't think so. I think it was all Game 6s.
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah, I think they were all Game 6s.
This is the point I'm making. It's like there's not a Michael Jordan on the horizon. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I heard a stat the other, or not a stat. Let me rephrase that. An interview way back in the day he did with Oprah, and it resonated so much with me, where he talked about how players back in his era had to earn it to get it. Like, he didn't get Gatorade and Nike. He had to earn that. Like, yes, Nike's ridiculous kind. If you saw the movie, like how they did it, but he had to perform to get to where he was. Where a lot of these kids are already making money, already have endorsements before they even play a single NBA game. And you see that they're not in it to win it at this point, because they've already done something without even, scoring an NBA point. And I think that's where you start to see some of these players nowadays, like they don't care. SGA, I think, could be the face of the league, but does he want to be? Does he even care? Does it matter to him? Who knows?
Is he that good? Look, I know I've seen all game long him with open looks, 15 feet away from the net, open look, and hitting the back iron of the rim and not getting shots in. I'm sorry, if Michael Jordan had an open look like that, he's not missing it. Not in the finals. He's not missing. And I don't see that really from too many players. Now, I see some clutch shots. It's just different. It is different because he just takes over a game when it means something. And I don't see anybody in the league that really takes over a game when it means something.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are right. You are right. All right. So that's some great NBA talk to begin the show. Again, your opinion, who needs it more? If you're out there live, let us know. Who do you think, which team needs it more? And why? Is it a legacy thing? Is it a franchise thing? There's so many different reasons why that one of those teams needs it more. So, Ron, it is time to talk some NFL. We're going to talk about, I think this may be one of our guys now that we dislike for a little bit. Shedeur Sanders in trouble with the law, a couple of speeding violations. Question is this a sign of what we expect for the future with him in the NFL? I guess if you haven't heard the story, he had a speeding violation. It was early in June. Didn't go to the hearing, so missed the hearings. Decided he was going to skip it, and after skipping it, had a second violation. And I guess I heard now his girlfriend also has a speeding violation. I think they may have a little problem with vehicles and following the speed limit. But he just recently commented as well and just kind of laughed it off as, I made a mistake, or, no big deal.
More than one.
Yeah. So, I guess my biggest issue with this whole situation is Elvin, donde es eso? We're in United States of America. Where are you from, Elvin? But it's interesting to see that we question why so many teams passed on him. Not a good look for a guy fighting for a roster. Absolutely, James. And that's where I was going to get to. Is you dropped to the 5th round. And I think it was more because people felt you were privileged. Like you thought you just deserved to
and that's what we're seeing here.
Exactly. Which all these teams were right.
That's exactly. He's like, oh, it'll get fixed.
Yeah, Dad's gonna,
Dad's gonna come up and he's gonna fix it for me.
And it's
that's
just
exactly why.
You're trying to make a roster spot, which isn't guaranteed right now.
No.
You need all the good press you can get. You need to perform during training camps and OTAs, and you're out here doing this kind of stuff, and this is what you're getting recognized for. And then you laugh it off. You laugh it off like it was no big deal. There is no sense of urgency, pride in what he needs to do to become an NFL player. And I think he's just assuming that another team will pick him up. Listen, you are damaged goods already. And this is what you're doing. You're adding to it. Absolutely horrible look.
The problem isn't the first one.
Yeah, you made a mistake.
You get that, but then you didn't go to the hearing.
Yeah.
So you didn't care. Then on top of that, you go and get another one. You might think you'd be smart enough not to speed after that.
At least, go slower, like get busted at 80 versus that. You got 100. He clocked over 100 on this last one. Like he's getting worse. And you got those guys like Ruggs back with the Raiders who, killed somebody. Like you would think some of these NFL players would have looked at that because it was recent. It's not like something that happened 40 years ago when everybody forgot about it. I'm sorry,
but why isn't his dad reaming him? Why isn't he telling his son, look, you can't be doing this stuff. You're going to get killed.
I think you're right. James, listen, unless he performs during preseason and comes out and really balls out where they say that we got to keep this guy, I think they cut him. I think they're going to cut him because of the situation. If he's average during the preseason, he's getting cut. It's a done deal. He's a 5th rounder. They don't need it. It's not going to affect him.
They signed him hoping that he was going to be good just for trade bait.
Or again, he's smartened up, decides he's going to play, stay committed to it. And now you got yourself a player. But we saw this with the Cleveland Browns before, Johnny Manziel. How many people warned them that, listen, this kid he's got a lot of, his luggage rack is full. Like he's got baggage. Like, he's paying extra money to fly because his baggage is like through the roof.
That's a great one.
Right. And then they did it with Baker Mayfield. So then you're like, they must have learned their lesson, right? Baker's grown up now, but when he was in Cleveland,
he was a mess. Give Baker a lot of credit for, the direction he chose.
But how many years did that take, Ron?
As opposed to others, right?
Right. That was years, though. That was years of him, right? And then he bounced that one year. He bounced around to like 3 teams before, now landing in Tampa and becoming a decent quarterback. This kid hasn't even taken the field yet. He hasn't thrown a pass for the Cleveland Browns in a game that matters. No. And I'm not even talking like just even a preseason game. Yeah. Like something that matters, and you're already bringing
in trouble
to the table that you shouldn't be.
And it is just the beginning. I mean, when you think about this, where do you think all these problem players start? It starts with undisciplined actions like this. He doesn't have the discipline or the care to do the things that is expected of him or being responsible for.
I think what hurt him at the end of the day, his dad hurt him in so many ways because Deion Sanders was just naturally gifted and was so good at it. He didn't have to work to get where
and that's
he was.
The problem.
And I
and
think
that's the problem with all sports, to be honest.
But I think he said to his son, "Oh, it's not that hard. Or you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Once you're in, it's you know what I mean, a cakewalk." And it's not. Like, this kid needs to work. He's fourth on the depth chart. He's fourth on the depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows if they even play him, because now they might be disciplinary action that they say, "Listen, we're going to bench you." Like, it makes no sense to me. I don't get it. It's just a shame because
with all these problems, every problem that you bring to the team, you lose players backing you.
And let me say this, Ron, before we move on. Supposedly, he was being mentored by Tom Brady. I'm going to tell you this. Tom Brady at 199 still talks about that as his motivating factor. This kid was 144, a little better. We're not talking a massive. It didn't motivate him to be any better or try any harder or work any harder. It's just like, whatever. So whatever he got from Tom Brady, I don't think he absorbed any of it, because that should have made him work even harder. Like, I'm 144. I should have been in the first round. And yet you're not even seeing the effort there to say, "Hey, look, I'm going to prove everybody wrong." It's more like, okay, guess what? You guys got it right. You got it right. Got it right.
Yeah, look, I mean, we talk about, players that don't get into trouble, just do their jobs. And the Patriots had a lot of those players throughout those 20 years, right? I mean, Tom Brady was the epitome of work hard and make every play count. Everything counted for him. It wasn't even just on the field. It was off the field. Everything mattered.
I would even say in recent times, Ron, I remember Chandler Jones, who was our best pass rusher. He had that situation with whatever, synthetic marijuana, whatever. They traded him the next week. The next week he was gone. Like, it's done. You put a stain on an organization, they say, "I'm sorry." And
think about all the money that Kraft lost when he cut the murderer.
Aaron Hernandez. Right. But listen, they let a lot of things go.
He just mentions it.
Yeah, but again, when it came out, what did they do? Sayonara.
Yeah, and they took a big money hit too on that, because he would have needed to wait and then file some sort of thing for, conduct, and Kraft didn't wait. And I got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Antonio Brown.
A big hit for it.
Antonio Brown. As soon as that story came out the next week, see you later.
Yeah.
They don't need this. I'm not trying to listen. What Aaron Hernandez did is not the same as what
it's not the same, did. Right?
Let's not compare it. It's not apples to apples.
But
it's a sign of what's coming. Yes, it's signs of what could be coming if he doesn't get in his head that, listen, I need to work.
Lack of care, lack of responsibility.
Yeah, it's unreal. But hey, great NFL talk, Ron. But we're gonna have some fun. James, stay tuned for this, because I'm curious what you think about this list too. It's time for starting five.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Our starting five tonight. Our starting five top U.S. sports franchises all time. And this is just strictly our opinion. There is could be some stats to it, could be financing to it. It could just be a personal opinion to it. But we're going to have some fun tonight with this one, because I can feel like this is going to go sideways quick. I am first this week, so I will start us off. And I started off with two teams that are more recent, but I don't think, because of their history, deserve to be in the top five. First off, the Golden State Warriors. I think what the Golden State Warriors have done to change basketball from the shooting and everything else, and the impact they've made, that franchise now is put up there because of Steph Curry and this We shoot threes from half court now because it's normal because of what the Warriors did. And then, believe it or not, Ron, the New England Patriots, I do not have as a top 5, but I have them as my bubble team because of their shared dominance for 20 years. And those are teams. A lot of my list is you either love this team or hate this team. There's no in between. It's like the Pacers or the OKC Thunders win, and we're kind of like, okay, no big deal. We don't care if they win. We're not going to hate who wins or who loses. So many people hate it if the Patriots won, right? And
that's a sign of
a great franchise,
greatness.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just think they had so many bad years in there that I couldn't put them as a top 5, but I put them as my bubble team based on the 20-year run that they had. Those are my honorable mentions.
Okay, so I do have Golden State and I do have New England Patriots on my honorable mentions.
Wow. Okay.
But I also added the LA Galaxy.
Ooh.
They've got 6 championships, most in MLS.
Big criteria for James is that they changed the game. Okay. MLS, yeah.
So I thought that was significant enough.
That's the one that Beckham owns,
there.
right? The Galaxy, Beckham, Will Ferrell. I think they both own.
Yeah, I don't know who owns it.
Yeah.
I just think having 6 championships, that warrants.
Yeah. Okay.
Some, and they don't have like the storied history.
Yeah.
Of
I got you. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I also have the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right, that's 9.
11 championships.
Okay, do you got a bubble team now? We get into the bubble team.
So that's what I have on my.
You only have 4?
Only 4.
Okay, all right, we're getting better.
I was teetering with Green Bay.
Yeah, I thought about Green Bay myself, right?
But all their champions came
way back in the day.
Yeah. So I dropped them off and nah.
All right, and this is going to hurt me because the team in the middle I don't have on my starting 5. At number 5 for me, Ron, the Mecca of basketball, a team that everybody talks about is the New York Knicks. So I went New York Knicks at number 5 because of what they mean to basketball. It's considered the Mecca.
I would rather have this one over the Knicks.
The Madison Square Garden is considered the Mecca of basketball. The Knicks,
I don't care what it's considered.
Regardless if they win or not, people dislike or like the Knicks.
They should call it the choker of
Hendricks
basketball.
Motorsports. That's a good one too. Yeah, Jimmy.
That's what I'm saying. I think that is better than yours.
It's not about winning. I'm not talking about winning though.
Yeah, but it should be.
Listen, people dislike the Knicks.
They don't win.
They don't, and people enjoy that they don't win. And I think that's something.
That's got to be.
You're a staple. But go ahead.
I take Pittsburgh Steelers over that.
Okay.
All right, my number 5. I wish Danny was here because I have his LA Dodgers at number 5. Look, I mean, when you have the money.
More money, more problems.
They have a great franchise.
They
8
do.
championships. Not too bad.
All right. At 4 for me was the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's the same thing. You hate the fact of that what they're doing now in baseball, but they've been relevant for so long. Like it's
back
been
when they were in Brooklyn.
Right. So it's just been a team that so many people have followed and looked at and honestly dislike. And that means something to me because if you're disliked, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
James has
the
Green
evil
Bay
empire, the evil empire of the National League.
All right. James has Green Bay at 4. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking of Green Bay, but I ended up dropping them because of, championships before Super Bowl era.
So who do you have at 4?
Number 4, I have the Detroit Red Wings. I think this franchise has been relevant, since they began. Yes, I understand that they've been struggling to get into the playoffs the last 4 or 5 years, but they've been right there and still have the leadership in the front office to put them over the top. And I think it's only a matter of time before they get there.
All right.
But 11 championships is
Yeah.
11 championships.
100%. 100%. At 3 for me, I had the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers.
I think we had the same top 3.
The sheer dominance that they've had for so long of just being a franchise that, again, you love them or hate them, and they've had nickname Showtime and right the Kobe era. When you can have eras in over such a long span of time, like
other franchises just aren't worthy.
The New York Tankies. That's cute, James. He's got the Tankies at 3, so
I don't know how you have them there.
But who do you have at
as
3?
a Red Sox fan, I'd have to disagree with that.
You have the Lakers at 3 as well?
I have the Lakers at number 3 as well.
Second most championships in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, some of those are in Minnesota, but that's besides the point. At least they kept the name.
Yeah, they kept the name. All right. So at number 2 for me, I had the New York Yankees. Evil Empire.
Really?
Yep. New York Yankees at number 2. Again, this is a team that you love them or hate them. And 27 world championships. But at the end of the day, this is a team that you're talking decade upon decade upon decade that they're expected to be a contender.
I don't know what world I'm in right now.
I hate to put the Yankees over Sox, but the championships did it for me. Okay. All right. Okay, so number 2 for me, the New York Yankees.
Sniffing this.
Yeah, no, not at all. So at number 2, I had the New York Yankees. Who did you have?
I actually have the Boston Celtics at number 2. And it pained me to put, the way over there. You see down next to right below you, that little thing.
Yeah.
It pains me that I put the Celtics, but when I'm looking at titles, it's quite different. It's quite different. And you can't I can't say, look, there was a period of time where this team was a
major period of time. So you're talking late 80s, and they've won 2 championships since. People don't care if they win or lose because they're not that team.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
But that's why I have them at number 2.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because you're going to be floored. I think you may want to sit down for this one.
I'm stunned already.
Okay. At number 1, my number 1 U.S. sports franchise, the Dallas Cowboys.
No, hell
This is a franchise that there are so many people. I can tell you when's the last time they won a Super Bowl, Ron?
Against Pittsburgh, I believe it was.
What year? Do you remember?
Yeah, 1996.
96.
Wait, 1996? 7. 6. Yes.
Right.
It was when I was working.
You can't talk football without the Cowboys. Exactly. That's why I put them there.
And I get that.
They are the franchise.
Since then, they are insignificant. I'm sorry, they are insignificant.
Ron, you send somebody who's not from America, and you send them over here, and you say football, I guarantee they know the Dallas Cowboys. Because that franchise, no matter
relevance is a different thing than.
That's how I looked at this.
Popularity.
I looked at this. Oh, they are by far one of the most popular teams in the NFL.
Right. And I get that. Which is the
number 1 sport in all of America. So why wouldn't they be the number 1 team?
I went mostly by the relevance of the team and their championships. And there is no other franchise that has more than these New York Yankees. And it pains me to put them there. That's why I made the Celtics thing so big and the Yankees really, really small, because I don't like the Yankees at all. I don't like anything they represent. They have just tons of money being in the biggest city, and it's an endless stream of green.
And James just said it. The Cowboys actually make the most money.
Yes, and I understand that.
We were talking
But
just
they don't
US
have the
teams, James.
championships like
Just
the New
US
York
teams.
Yankees have.
Yeah.
They don't have it.
But this is what I'm saying. I agree with the Yankee part of it. But to your point, people either love or hate them.
And James, you can't put Manchester United because it is not United States. And I'm glad you only made it for this country because I would have paid. I would have been.
Yeah, that's
big
why I said I
pain
wanted to. I
having
wanted
Yankees
to make sure.
and Montreal. And
Yeah, it was only because I thought about a hockey team, and I'm like, Montreal. Wait,
Got me
they're
all
not from the
choked up
United
now.
States. All choked
I don't
up.
have my Bruins. I
Dallas
don't have my
Cowboys,
Red Sox in there.
number one. People hate
But
them.
If we included all these other franchises, probably Manchester United would be number one for me. Montreal would then be number two, and then the New York Yankees would be number three. I still wouldn't have Dallas in there because they just don't win.
Okay.
I respect Galaxy more than I respect the Dallas Cowboys.
But why is that? Because again, we love to hate them.
They can win.
We love to hate them.
Yes, we do.
That's why I was saying, like,
but that's not what the criteria I
if
put
they
forward.
listen, if they win it this year, you'll be miserable because there's a disdain for that team. I'm just saying the Cowboys are more valuable, more significant than any of these other sports franchises. That star means something globally.
Hey, look, and
globally.
I get what you're saying. I know they make a ton of money, but they don't win the championship.
I wasn't talking about. It's not about money. It's about notoriety. They are the most known team in the world. In the world,
I get it.
In the world, James, Ron, all of you. All right, let's talk some NBA. This is a big story. Los Angeles Lakers have been sold. Is this good for the NBA? Is this a good sign for the NBA? $10 billion deal. It is the current owner, Mark Walter, who also owns the Dodgers. So you've seen what the Dodgers do in the willingness to spend money and figure some things out.
He's going to spend money is what you're saying.
They could get. Do you know how much the Jerry Buss originally purchased a team for in 1979?
I don't know, probably like a few $100,000.
$67.5 million.
Oh, geez, wow!
And now they've sold it for $10 billion. Like that's a good investment. I think they did all right in this deal. Since 1980, the Los Angeles Lakers actually have the most championships with 11. So they were very successful.
Look, I always think it's great when a team gets sold these days, mostly because it brings the old regimes out and it brings in new people.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they're going to be a little more
hungry, right? Hungry.
No, I think a little more respectable to the employees.
Okay.
And meaning players and front office as well.
Here's why I really liked it. What other team sold this year?
Yeah, Boston.
Right? So now there's a competition between these two owners who has, we just talked about the best franchise in the NBA, who's going to get more championships. I think it's going to bring back some of that fire to this rivalry because both of these owners are going to want to prove that they made the right decision.
Yeah, so but I got a feeling the Lakers are going to do something opposite of what the Celtics are going to do.
Yeah, they're going to buy. We're selling. Yeah.
And they'll probably buy half of our players.
It is crazy to think about, though, that you have the two winningest franchises all time both sell in the same year. Like, who would have said, if you were going to tell me the Lakers and the Celtics sold in the same year?
I would. First of all, it's hard to believe one of them sells, right?
Yeah, to have both of them.
You want that franchise because it's worth something. Just the name is worth something.
Yeah, and the funny thing, I think Jeannie Buss, the Buss family, still has like a 15% minority ownership, and supposedly she's going to be like some president of operations or something. Basically means she just has a title. Because there's no way a guy's going to spend $10 billion and say, hey, you know what?
So basically, she's going to be riding the bus while somebody else is driving it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That was a good one. Bus family high. Who wins the championship first round? That group, Boston, LA. I think you're right. LA might be the one to go. All right, Ron, are you ready? Are the fans out there ready?
Yeah, Luca.
I don't know if the fans out there are ready for this one, but this was a big story in Major League Baseball this week. Rafael Devers traded to the San Francisco Giants this week. Why did it get so bad in Boston, Ron?
Well, do you want me to start from the beginning?
Wherever you want to start, my friend.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning, Eric, because I've been dying for this statement. Do you remember when Devers was best friends with his buddy Xander Bogaerts?
Yes.
And I said, this is going to cause a big problem
when they let him go. Guy was toxic. I agree with you there, James.
Now, back then, Devers was a team guy. When they traded Bogaerts, that changed something. And that changed Devers thinking, well, if they're going to trade away this and they're going to get rid of all my buddies, it's all going to be about myself. And yes, I was a little surprised that he did sign with the Red Sox a big contract for many years. But it was definitely all about himself. And since that contract, it's been all about him. And he didn't have anything to worry about, despite the Red Sox stinking, and he wasn't that good last year. But soon as they made it a little uncomfortable getting a third base, and to his credit, they did the same thing to Bogaerts when they traded for Story. It's the same damn thing. But this case, he has been a nightmare this year because of that.
Listen, you're right. I thought that I truly thought it got to the worst point when John Henry flies out to Kansas City to have a meeting, and I'm guaranteeing you. And again, we weren't in the room. Whatever was said in that meeting, I'm sure John Henry just said, "Listen, I don't care what happens. You get rid of this guy. You dump him for a bag of peanuts." The guy that's the usher that's out there screaming, "Get your hot dog here." We'll take him because you didn't get anything back in return. You dump a huge salary, which ultimately the only way the fans in Boston are going to get over this is if you go out and spend that money next year. They need to show that everything that James just said, the guy's toxic. Right? Yeah. Now all of a sudden he's willing to play positions in San Francisco, whatever the team needs.
And that's another thing that pissed me off.
And he's still basically, giving it to Boston. He's saying to them is, look, a bag of baseballs. That's basically what they got. You're going to sit back now and say to the fans, this guy was a problem. He was a problem in the clubhouse. We've got a lot of young talent.
Absolutely.
We want to kind of build a team, and he was not a team guy.
He's getting on the rookies.
But great, Ron, he needed to go. We both agreed with that.
Yeah.
What they do with that money is crucial, though, for this to work.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, him going there, regardless of what he does in San Francisco, won't matter if you go out and spend money next year to get yourself a quality player. If you don't, then the fans are going to say it was all about the money, not the player. They have an opportunity, Boston, to save face with this because everything coming out is that this guy was just no good. He was no good in Boston as a teammate.
Yeah, he was horrible to be in that dugout all year long since they signed Bregman.
So you have an opportunity now. It's okay. I don't think anybody's going to be upset with this move if they go out next year and they get the top free agent or they get
I didn't even care what the guys they got in return for him.
Right now you don't. Right now you don't. But when you hear 313 million, and then you say, okay, so he still had what, 270 something million dollars left on his contract,
Yeah.
and then next year they go out and sign a AAA guy that they say, oh, he's going to be pretty good. Great. I'm sure we're going to have a different conversation.
Right.
If they go out and they get the top pitcher or that free agent pitcher or the best bat or the best first baseman that's possibly available, Pete Alonso, whoever next year, you sit back and go, okay, beautiful, good job, Boston. This needed to happen.
It did.
But it can't be about money, because if it does, you've already disserviced the fans with Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, now Devers. You can't afford to go into this thing next year and be like, we're good. We're just going to sign, Joe Schmo, the third string second baseman in Colorado, and be like, oh, this, that's what we did. Yep. I don't think anybody expected a major return from this. They needed to dump that player. And if they can get somebody that was going to say, we'll take the full contract, sign me up.
Look, if they can hang around in this trade deadline, they might be buyers.
They could be.
And if they do that, that also shows the fans that, it wasn't about the money. It was about Devers and how he's
part of this.
In the dugout.
Crucial part of this. James, a good question. Who now becomes the face of this franchise? It's got to be Crochet, I would think, right? Like, this is a guy now that you re-signed, right? Gave him a good contract, who could be a dominant pitcher for the next 5 years.
They did the right thing with this.
Right? Like, he could be that dominant pitcher. So I think they go, with Crochet as that face, James.
Yeah.
Still competitive. Absolutely.
This is going to define the franchise for the next 5 years, whatever they do.
100%. 100%.
And I was so upset about everything that Rafael Devers has done and said this year. And we have discussed this many times, and I compared Judge and Devers, how they should have been the focal point of Major League Baseball. And then once all this went down, I was so distraught over it. I gotta say I hated it, but when I first heard the deal, I was like, I don't even care how these players are that they got in return. I'm just glad he's gone, and I was proud to wear this shirt again.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a Red Sox fan, and we've talked about this in the past. When they made the move, I said it was crazy just based on the fact that I didn't think it would happen. We talk about it, you think about it, but you're like, he's too big of a piece, and the money and everything else. When it happened, I'm like, good for Boston.
Yeah.
Like, and that was great for Boston.
I'll go a step further, that Boston trades their key piece and they are playing their kids.
Yeah.
And this was what I was so upset about at the end of the NHL season for the Bruins. They weren't playing their kids. They waited till the last few games. Right out of the gate after that trade deadline, they should have been playing them all year, no matter if they got blown out by 5 goals every night. You got to play the kids. You got to see what you have. And they didn't do it. And I was so angry about it. Here, the Red Sox are doing the right thing. They're playing those kids, seeing what they've got. If they hang around in it, you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't. From the outside, I was thinking for a while. Some of the issues of the past, but obviously not so kind. It shocked me about the trip. Yeah, listen, I don't think anybody expected it. I really don't. I think as bad as you heard it was and what was going on, you were like, it's not going to happen. I think that John Henry meeting, to me, they didn't need the drama. They didn't. They don't need a drama show. But I truly think that John Henry meeting and whatever was discussed there had to have been Because guess what happened when John Henry got finished that meeting? He still wasn't playing a position. It didn't change anything.
Right.
And I think that's where John Henry said, forget it. This guy is not going to work with us. He is not going to do anything that the team needs. He is not going to be a team player.
It was all about himself.
And we need to just
selfish
cut ties,
player.
right? Cut ties. Listen, even if Boston stinks, Ron, this year.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
They did the right thing because the player was dominating the entire season. Kyle said it right. It just became a drama show. How much longer? If Boston lost another guy at a position player, it would have came up again. Well, Devers isn't going here because, right? Like, it would have just continued to fester and become more of a problem. But listen, good luck in San Francisco because he's going to play some positions, he says. We'll see. I feel like that's going to change quickly too.
I don't know. I just it's look.
Ron,
it was to the point I was collecting, Devers baseball cards and stuff like that because I really felt, he was a guy that was likable, and then that was an about face this year. And it
completely turned in a different direction. But fans out there, what do you think? Is this make the Giants a contender now? And then, are you excited about what the Boston Red Sox did in this situation? Let us know. Kyle, James, you guys have already chimed in. If there's somebody else out there, let us know what you think. Let us know. But we're going to move on, Ron. Great discussion. What a fun topic this was.
Been good so far, man. These are all nice, juicy topics.
Oh, my goodness. Ron, it is time for split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we give each other two more likely scenarios, and we have to answer it. I think the Giants did get a win, though, with Devers now agreeing to. Yeah, well, we'll see. James, think about this, man. Anytime, you get that, that hot new girlfriend, you're like, I'm going to do everything for her, and I'm going to be this perfect guy. And then guess what? Next thing you know, a few Saturday nights go by, you're like, I'm going to hang out with my buddies tonight, get a couple beers. Like, things change. We'll see. I think what he's saying right now is because, again, it's fresh, it's new, it's beautiful. Things will change pretty quickly in San Francisco. All right, so
not for nothing. I hope San Francisco tanks the rest of the season. I do. I want it to be.
Why would you want that?
Like one of the next 25 games.
Oh, that's not nice. All right, so our split decision segment, basically we ask each other two more likely scenarios, and we got to make a decision off of that. I am first this week, Ron, so I'll start us off with your first split decision. Ron, which New England area team is more likely to win another championship first? The Boston Red Sox, the Boston Celtics, the Boston Bruins, or the New England Patriots?
Oh, my God. All right. Now,
I can't wait for this answer.
After what we just discussed with the Red Sox, I don't think they're close.
They're probably out. Okay. So that leaves you Boston, the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Patriots.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So now, looking at the Celtics, they're not going to have Jason Tatum next year. So let's put that. So without having him, they're going to dismantle, at least half of the team. So for that reason, I think they're out. I feel like I'm on Shark Tank or something.
All right. Celtics out.
All right.
Which means the Bruins and the Patriots.
Now I take the Bruins situation, and mind you, the promises that they made, we're gonna go all in, during the off season, blah 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 blah. Now, in order for them to be a contender, they would have to sign at minimum 4 big-time players. At minimum. Because we don't know how good the kids are because they didn't play them. So for that reason, there's no way that this team is going to sign 4 players.
Okay.
For that reason, they're out.
Which leaves the New England Patriots.
It makes no sense that I'm picking the Patriots, but by default, it's got to be the Patriots.
The best of the worst?
Like, I'm looking at this, it's like, all right, so if Drake May is a real deal, okay, you got a quarterback. If that line holds up, okay, now you can pass and throw. Pass and run. And if Diggs doesn't cause any problems, you got a receiver. And I think that defense is going to be a massive upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a coach that actually knows what he's doing. So therefore, by default, it's got to be the New England Patriots.
The question, I mean, it didn't say it had to be next year, right? It could be who's next. So James said about the Pats and the offense. I agree, but again, then Boston Celtics are going to sell. I think Ron's 100% right. You're losing probably Jaylen Brown, somebody.
It's either them or the Bruins,
right? I think the Bruins have a better shot.
Yeah.
Than any of the other 3, because I think too, you think about injuries, you think about some of the things that came to factor with the Bruins, they might not be too bad next year.
No, well, like I said, they have to have 4. They got to sign 4 players. Okay, They need another defenseman to fill, what they traded away to Toronto. And let's be honest, those defensive players that they had as rookies did not do very well. They were a sith.
I think Marchand too is pretty happy now being in Florida. You may not see him come back, by the way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
I think there's a chance that he comes back.
We'll see. All right, your first split decision.
So, all right. We just talked a little bit about baseball. So why not go? Who is more likely to win the 2025 Cy Young Award? Max Fried of the Yankees with his 1.899 wins so far. Tariq Skubal, 2.06 with 8 wins. Or Chris Bobbick from the Kansas City Royals, 2.12 with 4 wins.
Not because I'm a Yankee fan. I just think Fried on this rotation, no Garrett Cole. Carlos Rondon is tied with 9 wins, but I don't see that lasting. Fried has impressed me by what I've seen. Not just as a Yankee fan, just he looks like he belongs in the American League. He's pitching well to these batters. Low ERA. I could see Fried being the Cy Young. Skrubal's always going to be a guy, though, that he's very good. So, but I could say if Fried gets the win total and keeps that ERA in that 2 range, I could see it being Fried. So I would go Fried.
He's got a better chance of getting more wins.
Yeah, with the team around him.
Skubal doesn't get as much of run support.
Run support, yeah. Yeah, no, really good. Really good one. All right, Ron, your second split decision. Which is more likely next year to happen in the NHL? Nikita Kucherov leads the league in points, which he did this year with 121. Leon Draisaitl leads the league in goals, which was 52 this season. O'Connor Hellebuck leads in goals against average with 2.01. Who is more likely to lead in one of those 3 categories next year in the NHL?
I'm going to say Hellebuck.
Think he's on a run?
Because I think with Kucherov, you got a couple of factors in there. First of all, you still have Nate McKinnon that's out there, and you still have Connor McDavid, who hasn't really played full seasons the last couple. So I think that is iffy. With Draisaitl scoring goals, it depends on where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like it.
I mean, if he ends up in, say, I don't know, Utah, I don't think he'll lead the league in goals. But Hellebuck is still going to be in Winnipeg. He's still going to have a great season and lose in the playoffs.
Okay. All right, it's fair.
So I say Hellebuck.
All right, I like it. All right, your second split decision, Ron.
All right. NFL time, right? Who will more likely have more yards receiving in the 2025 season? CeeDee Lamb of Dallas? A.J. Brown of Philadelphia? Terry McLaurin of Washington? Or Malik Neighbors of the Giants? NFC East.
I'm gonna CeeDee Lamb. They just signed. Who they make the trade for? We talked about. Wow, I'm drawing a blank. Who's the wide receiver? Oh, Pickens. I think that takes away from CeeDee Lamb. So I think he's out for me. McLaurin, they just picked up Debo. I think they're going to do some stuff different in the offense a little bit. I think that takes away from McLaurin, which leaves me with Neighbors,
A.J. Brown and
A.J. Brown. Malik Neighbors, I'm not sold that Russell Wilson can throw the ball that much. So A.J. Brown being on the same team, they're not going to change the offense. It's not like you've added players that are going to take, balls away from him. So I would go with A.J. Brown in that scenario, just based on what the other guys picked up in the quarterback in New York. I mean, they're probably going to have a rookie starting at some point in New York.
Okay.
So that was a good question, though. I like that. I like the way you did that, kind of the NFC East there.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That
was pretty good. That was a pretty good one. All right, my friend. Let's talk some NHL. With their Stanley Cup victory, is it time to consider the Florida Panthers a dynasty? So they've been to 3 straight Stanley Cups, obviously winning back-to-back, but losing 3 years ago. Your thoughts? Are they a dynasty?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning are a dynasty?
That's kind of where I was going. I don't think so. So I don't think they are. I really don't. I don't think they dominated long enough. The last time they were in the Stanley Cup before this was 1996.
Yeah.
I
don't think I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, if they were like 2020, 2021, and I'm going, all right, like that's 4 and 6 years.
Give me a couple more years of dominance. Not necessarily Stanley Cup, but you got to get there.
At least get there. Yeah, at least get there, and that's what I'm saying. They've been to 3 straight.
I don't think you can. I don't think they have too many free agents, and it's just not going to happen. You can't sign everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. They got to dominate long enough. I mean, they proved to make the right moves this season. Can I just say this?
Reinhart and
he's already gone.
Free agents.
Yeah, they're both gone.
So
Let me ask you this question.
You can't keep both.
The sheer dominance in Game 6, like Edmonton didn't even look like they belonged on the ice.
And that's what pisses me off.
The worst thing was Game 4 for the Oilers, because they came back from that 3-0 deficit, came back, right, and ended up winning in overtime. And I think they kind of just took it for granted, because then Florida all of a sudden said, okay, this ain't happening again. Like, we're going to get a lead. We're going to continue to dominate the lead. And then we're going to impose our pressure on them. And Edmonton just fell apart the last two games.
Well, I'll tell you, it came out after the loss for Edmonton. McDavid kind of threw his coach under the bus. Said the game plan was not what we needed. So you just threw your coach under the bus. Well, how about this one, Connor McDavid?
1 goal.
You did absolutely nothing the entire series. Mm-hmm. And I don't care. You got, a few assists. I don't even know if you scored a goal. I didn't see you score a goal. You might have gotten one.
One
right?
that I know of.
Right.
And it was like game 4 or something. It wasn't.
Yeah. Look, you did nothing. You are the star player, and you did 0 to help this team. I watched that game from start to finish, and you did nothing. So don't throw your coach under the bus. You should be under the bus because you didn't step up like those players needed you to.
I don't know if I agree with that, Kyle.
Everybody else was playing fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, Kyle. I mean, Florida, Edmonton was there last year. Oilers were there last year too. So it's not like the experience factor. I think it became, and I still say it. Listen, they came back from that 3-0 deficit, and all of a sudden, I think they had a confidence to say, "Oh yeah, well, this is going to be easy." And then all of a sudden, Florida said, "Okay, we're going to step it up a notch." We kind of slipped. We kind of let you back in where we took our foot off the gas. They said absolutely not. It's game 5 and 6. Like, they did not do that at all. So I don't know, Kyle. I don't know about the experience factor. I think it was more.
No, I don't think it was the experience. What it was desire. Okay, I look at that Florida team, and as much as I hate them, I look at that Florida team and see what the metal that they're made of, right? Look, Bennett, phenomenal all playoff long, right? He was incredible. He's going to get a $10 million deal. I mean, he made himself so much money from this playoff run. It's insane. Now, I would love him to come to Boston.
Just
it's not happening, but I would love it, right?
Yeah, let it go.
Marchand, look, he's a clutch player, and he's still one of the best players in the league when you need him, right? When you need him, he's there. They got guys up and down that lineup that are like that. Some of them don't have as much as skill as those players, but they have a ton of players that have that desire and just never stop attitude.
Yeah.
And then you look across the other side, and you got McDavid, who thinks that everything is handed to him. Self-entitled.
Yeah, but
look, I don't. Look, I blame McDavid for this. How
many Bruins greats can leave, win a cup somewhere else? Like, how about winning it in Boston?
A lot of them do.
It's just Ray Bourque. That whole situation with Ray Bourque, I don't care how long you're alive, that's going to bother you. Like, it's just going to bother you. And now Marchand winning one, like, they couldn't do it in Boston again.
Well, Marchand did do it in Boston.
No, but I'm saying do it again. Like, it just, like, he had to go somewhere else to do it.
Why he could come back. I'm hoping.
But I know you had another NHL conversation that you wanted to talk about, some trades, possibly some rumors going out. Ron?
Yes, absolutely. Just a bit of the news because, the season's over. Here we go. Free agent stuff, trades. They're all trying to position themselves. The first thing is the Stars traded Marchment, and then they signed Duchesne to a 4-year, $18 million contract. And we talked about Dallas before, saying they were going to have a hard time and they're going to lose some pieces.
Yeah.
You already lost Marchment now, so that's one piece gone. And they still have three other guys they need to sign, and you're not going to be able to sign all of them. So you're going to have to either trade some pieces away or work miracles, because that's not going to happen. But that's what they did already. Now, NickBonino has retired from the NHL, and he joined the Pittsburgh coaching staff. So he won two cups in Pittsburgh, and now he's going to be on the coaching staff. So he's retired. Kind of a sad one is Roman Josi, the Norris Trophy defenseman for the Predators, has been diagnosed with POTS at the end of last season. And they're saying that he's still going to play this upcoming season, but as it gets closer and closer, we'll see if that changes throughout the season. They could find a part-time player in Josi, so they might have to do some shopping around. So that's unfortunate. He got diagnosed with that. And former Bruin, who was traded to New Jersey, he was traded again to the Predators for Hansel and a pick. So Eric Howler on the move again. So he is now in Nashville. And then the Bruins filled the spot.
I can't wait. It's the anticipation's killing me.
Steve Spott.
Stanley Cup
is now an assistant coach for the Boston Bruins. They signed him, but the Bruins. I did hear about
that though. He was the power play. What team did he come from? Dallas, and they were like 7th over the last 3 years in power play percentage. So
yeah,
maybe it sparks them on the special teams piece.
Maybe, or maybe they should just give the puck to Pasternak.
Yeah, all right, my friend.
But the Bruins have been talked about that number 7 pick. They are in the midst of working a big trade with the Islanders, and they are trying to pry away Romanoff, their defenseman, or Dobson. So they're trying to improve their defense. They know they have a defensive spot. I don't really want Dobson, but Romanoff is intriguing. So there could be something in the works, sending that 7th round pick and getting Pajot and Romanoff, and somebody else will be going there.
All right.
We'll see. That's something to pay attention to for the next few days.
We will see. All right. Thank you, Ron. It is time now for pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Our pick and roll tonight, episode 25. So we took the guys that are at 25 and up, the next 5 guys, in playoff assists.
I'm hungry. I could go for some 5 guys.
Playoff assists leaders all time. These are 25 through 20. And they are Dwayne Wade, Clyde Drexler, Mark Jackson, Maurice Cheeks, and Kevin Johnson. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1. I am first, so I will start us off. And can I just say, all these players I liked, which is a first. I think the first time we've done a pick and roll where I'm like, I like all these players. There wasn't a guy who was I really didn't like him. Or this.
Yeah, no,
I liked all of them. Unfortunately, Mark Jackson fell at number 5, just never has enough accolades. 9.6 points, 3.8 rebounds, 8 assists per game. Only 1 All-Star. He did win an assist title, and he was a Rookie of the Year, but just never did enough for me. At 4, I had Maurice Cheeks, 11.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, 6.7 assists, 4-time All-Star, 5 All-Defensive. I really like that number, and a 1-time champion. But at number 3, I just like the scoring more. Kevin Johnson, 17.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 9.1 assists, which is really good. I didn't realize how many assists he averaged. 3-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, which I thought was a little better than the 5 All-Defensive. And he was a 1-time Most Improved Player. At 2, though, I went Clyde Drexler, 20.4 points, 6.1 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 10-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, and a 1-time champion. But Dwayne Wade, what a player he was. You don't realize until you read these numbers. 22 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 13-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA. He won a scoring title, 3 All-Defensive, 3-time champion, and a Finals MVP when he got there. He outperformed. I think that was the Shaq year. The year he won it with Shaq. But that's how I saw it.
All right. So at number 5, I also had Mark Jackson. Just didn't have anything to really
put him ahead of the other.
Get in with the other 4 players. I thought the other 4 players were kind of ahead of him.
Agreed.
But he's still a great player. I loved Mark Jackson as well. But he just didn't match up to the other 4. Number 4, this one was a really close one for me. I also had Maurice Cheeks at number 4. And I felt the same way as you felt. Kevin Johnson at number 3 had more points, and the All-NBAs outweighed the All-Defensive.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went there as well as you did. And number 2, I also had Clyde Drexler with his 20 points per game and 6 boards per game, 5 assists. 10-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. Just wasn't enough for Dwayne Wade.
D Wade is not playing anymore. He's actually, I think, a part owner of the Utah Jazz. James. Yeah, he's a part owner of the
still
Jazz.
On the Heat? No, yeah. So I mean, he's enjoying life with Gabrielle Union, right?
Yes, yes, he is.
Not
many people wouldn't.
That too.
Yeah, not many people wouldn't be enjoying that. So I agree with you there.
Dwayne Wade had a couple more points per game. He won 2 more championships than Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
3 more All-Stars, 3 more All-NBA, 3 more All-Defensive. I mean, he was a better player.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. But we both agreed, so.
Yeah. Same exact.
Very good. Very good. No way. It seems like yesterday, right? Bosch, LeBron. You guys were on the Heat. It does seem like, right? Time moves quick, man. LeBron's been back to Cleveland to the Lakers now since then too. So it's been quite a journey. Ron,
I'm glad I whispered it.
Before we get into our predictions, do you want to bring up those Hall of Fame nominees? The polls are open, so cast your vote. We have some great players in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame that were voted on by the fans, so we're really excited about that. So check out the Sports Unfolded website, and you can see the Hall of Fame page there.
Oh, it's beautiful. You did an unbelievable job with that Hall of Fame page.
But we will have a new member at the end of the month. And for soccer, football, we have Ronaldo, Zidane, Paulo Maldini, Roberto Carlos, and Luis Figo. So those are the nominees. Cast your votes at the Sports Unfolded Sports poll page on Facebook. Polls are open now. Zidane is actually leading in that category. And for the NBA, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wes Unseld, Bob McAdoo, and Willis Reed. Kareem has got a pretty substantial lead right now. But again, anything can change. We still got about 2 weeks left of the polls. So check out the Sports Unfolded Sports poll page on Facebook. Cast your vote. Follow the page. So anytime we do have some polls, you'll able to vote on the next inductees. But Great class. This is a great class. Very tough. It's going to be a tough one. All right, Ron. Well, it is prediction time, and last week not so good. James with a victory there, 5-3. I went 4-4.
James, you got to cash in on all these wins.
Thank you, NASCAR. It would put me over the top. Ron 3-5. I had the second place finish last week in NASCAR. But it is time for you, the fans.
Wait a minute. That's the one that you stole my driver from the previous 4 weeks.
Yes, I did. And that is your loss, my friend. Your loss. All right. So with that, if you are out there live, let us know who you pick. And you can either add to your total or get your name on the Sports Unfolded prediction chart. And we start off with the big one. This Sunday, Game 7. The Indiana Pacers at
I thought it was MLS.
Oklahoma City Thunder. This is for the marbles. This is for the title, the trophy, whatever you want to call it. Who wins the NBA title? I'll tell you right now. I am picking at home the Oklahoma City Thunder to win.
Yeah,
Game 7.
They just don't lose 2 in a row. I mean, it's hard to go against OKC. A little bit of me feels that Indiana has a chance, but I think at home, they're too good at home.
James went with the Thunder as well. Kyle, if you're still out there, pick a team. Get some addition to your chart as well. So Indiana Pacers at the Oklahoma City Thunder, Game 7 this Sunday. It's going to be a big one. It's fun. All right, Ron. Starting tonight, you got the New York Mets at the Philadelphia Phillies, 3-game series. Who do you got?
Mets have been struggling bad. I'm going to go Philadelphia at home.
I like what you're cooking. I like what you're cooking.
Yeah, they just got beat by Atlanta, too.
Yeah, I went Philly as well here. Just at home, too, and the Mets struggling. James going Mets. Soto's still not right. Something wrong there.
Soto made a big running mistake yesterday.
Yeah.
He got doubled up on a fly ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
I know you're going to watch tonight this matchup. The Boston Red Sox at the San Francisco Giants, 3-game series.
This is just not even fair, right?
The Rafael Devers series, we're going to call it. Revenge of Devers. I'm going with San Francisco to take this.
Yes, James, I know I went with them. I do that because it makes the Yankees lose and the Red Sox win when I go against the Red Sox in a Red Sox-Yankees.
Mm-hmm. So you're going with San Francisco, so you hope the Red Sox beat the Giants.
Well, I'm only up by 1 game now, so now I have to take it serious, right?
Yeah, James going with the Sox.
The unfortunate thing is San Francisco is not going to face Crochet. So I'm going San Francisco in this series.
Okay. All right.
Because Crochet just pitched the other day, so he's not going to face them.
James sticking with his homer. He's good. He's a homer. All right, WNBA action. You got this Sunday, the New York Liberty at the Seattle Storm. Who do you have?
I'm going Liberty because they just lost against the Mercury. So I think they're going to be a little fired up, and I think they're going to come out and they're going to win this game. And it's not going to be close.
Yep, they got their first loss of the season. I think, to your point, it's maybe a little motivating factor. Even on the road, I went Liberty. James going Liberty as well. Also this Sunday, you got the Indiana Fever at the Las Vegas Aces. WNBA action. Caitlin Clark versus whoever's in Vegas now. Oh, what's her name there? Aja Wilson, right? Yeah.
Did you see? Doesn't she have a new commercial out too?
Yeah. Yep. A few of them now. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. I'm going Indiana though. They just actually lost 2, so I think they're going to come out fired up as well and Caitlin Clark went 0 for 7 from threes in the last game. That's not happening again.
Okay. James went the Aces. I agree with Ron. I'm going with the Fever here. I think Caitlin Clark coming back from that injury, starting to work herself back into shape, but I could see that turning quickly ugly. Vegas just hasn't been the same this year.
Bald in that Connecticut Sun game.
Yeah, that was brutal. This Wednesday, MLS is so weird sometimes. You got the San Diego Football Club at the Vancouver Whitecaps Football Club. I went San Diego here. I don't know. I had a feeling San Diego. It's a Wednesday game too. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vancouver at home. This game will probably end 1-1, but I'll go Vancouver.
Okay.
The Whitecaps.
The Whitecaps. James going San Diego. All right. NASCAR, my friend, this Sunday. You got the Great American Getaway 400 in the Poconos. We need a top 5 driver. I'm going with a driver I haven't used much this season. I'm going Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. Take the checkered flag here.
Okay. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. I think if I want to win, I got to go with somebody that, has potential to be top 5 every race. So I want to pick my third winner of the year, and it's going to be Denny Hamlin.
Okay. I like it. I forget who James picks every week, but James Hootie picks the same guy every week. Maybe not. Maybe he's not picking somebody this year. He said this week, I'm done with NASCAR. He's done with NASCAR. All right, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, would you please be so kind to tell all the wonderful people out there, he's going Byron. Will Byron, is that who it is, right?
Lord Byron.
James, got it. How they can become a sponsor of the show and get their business advertised each week and have thousands of eyes and ears on it.
Sure, Eric. To sponsor the show, your ad will be here. We will read the ad, so not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out the media kit, and it'll tell you everything you need to know to get yourself up there.
Listen,
right up there.
I will tell them this, Ron. Forget the donut coffee thing. This face is worth so much. Do you know how many people are looking at? Your business will be everywhere. This beautiful face. Again, yes, like, share, follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on everything, including audio. So there is not a reason that it won't be heard or seen in thousands of eyes and ears each week.
So, Eric, earlier this week, I went to a Chinese restaurant and I was talking to them about a wonderful show. And who knows, they could be interested to sponsor the pick and roll.
Pick and egg roll?
Pick and egg roll segment.
I like it. Pick and egg roll. I love egg rolls, by the way. I don't know why. I really do. Especially
they also have spring rolls. So,
not the same. Not the same, my friend. Not even close.
I'm just saying, maybe if we did like a spring training segment next year.
What is the sushi rolls? We could do a sushi roll.
It is the yeah, we can cover. No, never mind.
I don't even want to know. All right.
Nope.
Ron,
not going to go there.
It is
not going there.
I think it's time. It is final thoughts time. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything happening in the world today. I am first today. So I have two quick ones. First and foremost, I am trying more to have a good guy, good story. So Lamar Jackson star quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Great job trying to defend your teammate. Drops that 2-point conversion pass in the playoffs. A lot of people have still been, criticizing Mark Andrews for dropping that pass. And here's a guy that says, let's remember all the great things he's done for our organization. One of the best tight ends in the league, Mark Andrews. So it's not like this guy is somebody that hasn't been there and done it year after year. He defended him and said that he's completely behind him during this whole process. And he asked people to stop and remember what he's done for that organization. And I thought that was just a class act. He could have very easily just blamed him for losing that postseason game, and he didn't do that. He defended him. So great job, Lamar. And I also wanted to give just a quick public announcement to all the wonderful athletes that are going to get drafted this Wednesday and Thursday in the NBA. The NBA draft this Wednesday and Thursday. Let's look at what happened in Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders and how it can affect you from a draft standpoint and then from making a team. Pay attention, enjoy the process, but appreciate the opportunity because it doesn't come that often. And there's a lot of guys that I guarantee are out there that you can ask that play in the G League now or overseas that really wish they took it more seriously and appreciated the whole thing because now they'll never play in the NBA again. And it could happen to Shedeur Sanders in the NFL. So learn the lesson, enjoy it, but also appreciate the opportunity. I think that's crucial now to these young kids. But that's my final thoughts.
Yeah, that's well said. And even expanding on that, how we have problems with players' attitudes and stuff. Look, we can go in every sport. We have them in every sport. We have Rafael Devers' situation. There's so many players that just don't have the right attitude. You are playing a game for a living.
Mm-hmm.
People are paying you millions of dollars in many cases to play a game. Now, you should have the respect for at least the fans because they are paying you, believe it or not. Have a little respect for the fans and be the player that they want you to be. And that is, attitude correct. Your life has to be right there. You have all this money, you can make your changes, but yet they still bring that same attitude when they were out on the streets or, just not bringing the right thing to the game. Do yourself a favor. Get your attitudes ready and able to be playing for your fans. Don't disappoint them like so many athletes do.
Agreed.
Don't disappoint them.
Well said, Ron.
And happy birthday, Len Dawson.
Hey, all right. Happy birthday, Len. That has been our show for tonight. We do want to thank those in Dallas, Georgia, 99.1 WDJY FM for putting us on every Friday night, as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. and SEC TV Public Access Channel 12 every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Thank you for the support. We do ask that you follow us on all our social media platforms. Tell your friends about it. Join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. The best. Ron, I want to thank you tonight for your time. I want to thank all of those wonderful fans that have joined us live. James and Kyle, you guys were great tonight. Thank you for the support.
What's the other gentleman from what was his name? I gotta find it now. I don't know.
Did I miss someone?
Yeah, the gentleman that was speaking Spanish.
Oh, yes, I did not catch his name. But thank you for Thank you for joining us live tonight. Join us again next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For Elvin, thank you. For the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. Tell your friends about it. Like, share, follow our social media platform. Cast your votes for our Hall of Fame and check out that Sports Unfolded website and get to see all the athletes that have been inducted as well. Ron, we will see you next Friday. Appreciate it. I hope everybody out there had a great time. And all we ever ask for every single show is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.